Greetings to all melanated people all around the world. It's really a joy and a blessing being out here in the SUN and absorbing all the energy, all the nutrients, everything that nature has to offer to me, and I'm bringing it also to you. I'm transmuting it to you because there's no distance when it comes to frequency, vibration, and energy. And so, with me being in the tropics, being born in the colony, and when you read the scripture much more carefully and understand it psychologically and understand the entire thing to be an allegory, and that is Galatians 4:24, okay, you would realize and recognize that when you speak about the Christ walking the shores at Galilee and so on and all of that, it's basically the Christ in the colony, the place of the sun, a place where the people are so connected to nature and understanding who is the true creator. Okay, so with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, I want to speak to you concerning the three witnesses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because there are many who would disagree with me, but they will not have the belly to come and do it before the entire world, okay? Because their whole belief system came from what was actually taught to them, because as little children growing up, we were taught in school to believe certain things, and we were taught to sing all these Jesus songs, and was given a white idol to bow down to, a man with blonde hair and blue eyes, and believe that is Jesus Christ that existed 2,000 years ago. Okay, and many are trapped in the matrix, and they believe such foolishness, and they would not even want to listen to me. And the easiest thing for them to say is that he's crazy, okay? And that's in St. John chapter 10. And they must play their part, and I must play my part. Okay? Now, speaking about the three witnesses, I want to say to you, before I would have awakened and found my skull to be the sepulchre, or the tomb, or to discover the true virgin birth, what is the birth up from above or the birth from the skull, I had one ambition in life. I wanted to know for myself who am I and who God is. And so I set out on a journey to discover this phenomena. And to cut a long story short, I took the way of Christianity by joining myself to church. But no one has ever convicted or get me scared about the so-called gospel and hell and the devil and so on. I did it consciously to discover my true self, not knowing I was fulfilling Matthew 6:32, which says, seek ye first your true identity. Where it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Because when it tells you where the kingdom is, it tells you that in Luke 17:21, He said, don't let anyone at all point you to look outside of yourself. You must look within yourself. He said, don't let no one tell you, Lord, He's here, or Lord, He's there. For the kingdom of God is within you. That He, many believe it's a personal pronoun, but that He is a personification of your own human imagination, which is the creative power in man. So He's saying, do not let anyone have you looking for the Creator outside of yourself. Because all things was first imagined. Everything was first a thought. Everything is first mental. So I started out on that journey. And when I was 17 years of age, I would have been given the coat of many colors. And that's why I can tell you all the characters that you think was persons that existed in the Bible 1,000 years ago. They're just states of consciousness or state of mind that you, the individual, will pass through. So when you read about Moses, it's a state of mind, a state of consciousness. Joseph is a state of mind or a state of consciousness. So you will come through all these stages or states of consciousness until you come into your Christ self. And so when I was 17 years of age, I was given the coat of many color, which I found to be the rainbow. Okay? In my autobiography, I will go into all of these things more deeply, okay? And show you. And at that time, I was in church, Christian, I was 17 years of age. Then when I turned 30, I met the pillar of fire. And the man that came from the pillar of fire was a melanated one, a black man. And I would have heard the unholy wind. And that same fire, I saw that same fire in a smaller way. And it crossed my eyes. And things fell from my eyes like scales. And a voice said to me, "This is for your eyes." That's when I was 30 years. They more to it, but I won't go into it at this time. But when I reached the place of 9, because my number is 333, and when I had an innate ability to understand that when I reached the age of 4 and 5, that I will know my true calling and purpose, that's when I came to understand that there's no number higher than 9. You come from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After 9, 10 is a 1 and a 0, 11 is a 1 and a 1, 12 is a 1 and a 2, 13 is a 1 and a 3, 14 1 and 4, and so on. I realized that when I experience the birth from above, the birth from the skull, when I awake within myself like a fiery being and heard the unholy wind and ascend and exit my skull and became invisible, that I would have come to the true meaning of life and would have discovered my Christ self. But before all of this would have taken place, while I was in Christianity, there are 3 major men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are preachers who are used as witnesses. I mentioned the name in my book, in one of my books, but I will just give you the scenario in this video. The first one, he used to have his church at Camelot, which is today is called Grenadine's House. And when my intuition was telling me that I need to get away from an organized church, and I wrote a letter to the church that I was attending and tell them that it wasn't really, basically, it was not my calling. And something was telling me that you can't know God by education, it's by divine revelation. And that I have to move on. I went to the bank to open my new account to put my tithes and my offering, and the woman went into conversation with me and invited me to the Camelot Inn. I didn't give her my word to say I was going to come, but that morning I put on my clothes and wanted was to attend the New Testament church at Wilson Hill. But on my way coming out, I saw a vehicle and I asked for a ride. It happened to be, the person who was driving the vehicle happened to be the Postmaster General for the post office at that time, which was Peggy the Freitas. And she told me she was going to Kingston Park area. So I told her, I asked her, "Are you passing next to the Camelot Inn?" She said yes. I said, "Okay, leave me there." So I went to the Camelot Inn, and the preacher, this man would have never seen me before. And to cut a long story short, this is what he says to me when I got there. Call out, separate, set apart. I see you being a man, highly respected in this country. I see you being a nation builder, and so on. But your ministry would not be easy. It wasn't an easy one. And I remember quite vividly before that same man start his television and his radio ministry, because he had a television ministry. I told him that in his wife's mother house in New Montrose. So to cut a long story short, witness one. Okay? In my books I'll go into more details and so on. Two, it was a faith temple, and they normally have what they call Keswick. A special meeting is called Keswick. And the guest speaker was a man from the Dominican Republic called Israel Brito. And this certain preacher saw me up by the altar, and he came up to me and said, I was standing there and I saw you. And something said to me, God is speaking to this man. And I said to him, God is saying to me, or the power in me is saying to me, that the people of this country need proper nutrition and fitness. Because that's how God has always been teaching me. Which in my autobiography, no more on these things. And that man is preaching today. Not just him alone, his son too. His son owns a church, and he owns one too. Then there's the third one, who was operating at a insurance business not too far from the post office where I was working. And while I was going through my experiences at the same church which I would have written the letter to, which I used to preach there, I was already a lay minister. They wanted me to be a pastor, but I didn't want to, because my intuition was telling me you cannot know the Almighty or the Creator by education, but by divine revelation. And it was so much on me. I went to him and had a conversation with this pastor, and this man would have written book too. And at that time, I happened to meet a man before I even speak to this pastor, okay? That I would have never seen before. But I heard him in a store was speaking about health and wellness. And me being a man who been out practicing health and wellness, I get into his conversation. So he told me who he was and so on. His name was Mr. Greenidge. He is a man originally from Grenada. I get to find that out later by the same pastor. That the same pastor told me he and Mr. Greenidge was good friend from long time, and he born in Grenada, and that Mr. Greenidge used to be a preacher. But Mr. Greenidge would have gone to United States of America, and having suffered a lot in his health, and could find no cure. And this man used to be a preacher, eh? Remember that, a Christian, okay? And remember, these people supposed to have the healer in them, okay? Which I do heal myself. But I won't get into that. That's a different subject for another time. And so, I happen now to become friend with this man, Mr. Greenidge, and he invited me by the same pastor church where he was going to do a seminar, a number of seminars, speaking engagements. And I went somewhere out Caliqua side. Let me see. I'm trying to bring the name of that place. Okay, but right above Caliqua. And it was the first time I would have gone to the church. And there I went, I listened to Mr. Greenidge and so on. Mr. Greenidge was teaching about alkalinity and acidity. And he was pushing a product line called Inner Light. Inner Light products. And I remember quite vividly, I went to the church that I used to be before, when I met this man, Mr. Greenidge, and I was giving the pastor the good news, because it was a woman at the time, and she was the person who gave me the pulpit and said that she did not believe the pulpit is a place for a woman. She believed the pulpit is a place for a man. And she was praying for a certain man. Though it had many in the church, she was praying for a certain man. And she would have placed me to be the main speaker there, and the women there, many of them didn't like it though. Okay, and when I went to her and I told her about this inner light products and so on, she went on the computer when I would have left and went on a site which was the wrong site. So she went on a site where there was a lot of psychics and so on and all of that. And she would have spread my name in the church and said that I get involved in some occultism and all of this foolishness. And when I get to my hearing, I went and I told her it was Inner Light Colonials. And so she went on it and she found the site and she apologized to me and so on. And that's why my spirit was telling me it is time to get out and so on. And I've come to understand that the word occult just means that which is hidden. And these people are kept under fear and they're religious. So yeah, let me come to my point. So that's how I came into this man, Mr. Greenwich. And that's how it was beating on me that the people need true health and wellness. So I went over by this insurance place and I began to speak with this pastor. And he was in total agreement with me, like, yes, based on the experiences that God really speaking to you and so on and all of that. No! These are the same men who have to come and face me and tell the people of this country if what they were saying to me was a lie or if it was truth. And if I've come into the place of the prophecy, and I'm saying to you, my people, those 3 witnesses was given for purpose, because many believe God to be something outside of themselves, when God or the Creator is your own human imagination. And the Bible tells you how to put your imagination to work and to prove yourself. That's why it says in 2 Corinthians 13 and 5, prove yourself and see if you have any faith or not. Don't you know your own self that Jesus Christ is in you? So I'm going to give you a test. Psalm 4:4 says, come you with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Don't pray to no God outside yourself. Don't believe in no God outside yourself. Don't believe in no white Jesus. Don't believe in no idol. Don't bow down to no literal Christ. Because the Bible is not literal. Then Matthew 6:6 tells you, don't be like the church people, don't be like the hypocrites. And when you check the Old New Testament, the Christ was always exposing the church system. And that's what I'm doing. Because Hebrews 13 tell you he's the same yesterday, today and forever. The power is the same. So the power in me, I'll do the same thing. Yeah, Matthew 6:6 say, go in the closet. Where's the closet? In a place in your house. Secret place within. Where the Father is. Who's the Father? The invisible man. The man of imagination. That does manifest your reality. That will bring things real. That's why everything was first a thought. Everything was first imagined. Everything came from the unseen world to the seen world. Everything was first invisible, made visible. He said when you go in, close the door. This is the doorway to your soul, my friend. Close your eyes and look through the one eye, the real eye, the third eye, the eye of your mind, your imaginal eye. Know what you want and go to the end. Believe you have it whenever you pray. Because prayer is desire and meditation. Not begging God. Not talking to a God outside yourself. It's believing in yourself. Not looking to a God outside yourself, but to look to yourself. Self-love is the greatest discovery. And the Bible been teaching you that all along. Then, in Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, give you the secret of how to hold a desire. You think you love? The one you love? And you go searching all over. And you couldn't find it. You didn't know how to manifest it. You didn't know how to create. But when you find the secret, when you find the one you love, bring the one you love into your mother's bed chamber. And let your imagination become your manifestation. Secret. Bible doesn't work on magic, I work on secrets. Okay? And there are so many scriptures I can go to and show you that the Bible is speaking about your own human imagination as the creator and not a God outside yourself. So my message to you of the 3 weaknesses is that I want them to tell you whether I am speaking the truth or not. And I want to bring these things to their remembrance. Because we're in a war. It's lie against truth. It's darkness against light. I don't want to go on and on and on and on. Because more of these things, they're available in my books, lectures and so on, and there are more days to come to you, my people. So with that being said, I want to always give the sign of the sun, the sign of the one eye, the real true eye. And it's in Matthew 6:22. He said, if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. He said, you must be the light of the world, and let your light so shine before men, that they may behold your good works, and glorify the God that they would have seen in you. So with that, I want to say peace, love you. I'm out.